So everybody, we're here with Kenny DeJohn. He's been on the show before. He has MLB The Show, the podcast, or is it just the show, the podcast, Kenny?
We call it just the show, the podcast. God forbid Ramon decides to show up at my door with lawyers and sue me. So
yeah, exactly.
So it's the show, the podcast. Yeah.
Okay. Right. So Kenny is of the show, the podcast. My apologies. And he is our MLB The Show expert. And he is a content creator, YouTuber, MLB The Show player extraordinaire. Would you describe yourself that way?
Extraordinaire might be a stretch, but the rest of the stuff was pretty accurate. Yeah.
I'm willing to give you extraordinaire.
Thank you.
I've watched some of your clips on YouTube.
I prefer extraordinary as opposed to extraordinaire, but I'll take it.
Okay, you prefer a hyphen in between them?
Yes.
You're the most.
All right.
So, Kenny, the new game is out for some people. I'm too cheap to be playing it, but obviously you are and many others. Give me your initial thoughts.
Initial thoughts. So, I want to say it up front before, because you have to, like we were saying before this started going, there are always going to be negatives with an SDS-produced video game. Mm-hmm. But I want to be up front. I am enjoying 23 in a way that I have not enjoyed 22 or 21.
Wow.
I don't think that's recency bias, because obviously we have this new shiny toy that is not MLB The Show 22, and automatically that makes it better. But it feels smooth and intuitive in a way that 21 and 22, specifically 22, did not. Hitting is both better and I'm on the fence. I'm not quite sure. Like I said, that smoothness really comes into play, but at the same time, I have hit more perfect, and piss rod lineouts than I think I've ever gotten before. The game is just out. It will be tuned. There will be gameplay updates. So I'm not sounding any large alarms yet, but it is something to be aware of. Pinpoint has some issues. I posted a clip on Twitter like literally an hour ago, maybe even less than that, where I had a perfect release, and it was like a wiffle ball riser that just went up and out and was like, it was one of those just a bit outside situations. Like it was not even close. And that is not an input issue. That is just some weird coding thing where the ball just had a mind of its own. Like it could have killed someone. So hopefully that gets fixed. I imagine it will. Everything else is just little ticky-tacky stuff that comes with an early release. So I'm not concerned. I'm dropping my next podcast episode on Tuesday, the 28th, and I made the bold prediction that I think we're going to have our first patch by Friday. I don't think it's going to be a cure-all. I think there will still be things that are larger that take another couple weeks, but there are some bugs that are not game-breaking, but there are some bugs that are problems that they were made aware of that I think are easy enough just to fix from early release. I'm probably going to be incredibly incorrect in my assumption that we get one by Friday. Maybe by next week is a smarter guess, but I think these are the type of things we'll get pretty soon.
I think you got to go with the bold prediction, though, you know?
I mean, you can't be right unless you're bold. You don't look like a genius if you make the sensible pick. You look like a genius if you just went out of left field and made a call. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, like you don't want to be the guy who's like, dude, I'm going out on a limb, okay? I'm going to say it. In my head, I'm seeing the sunrise tomorrow. That's where I'm at. You know, hate if you want.
Yeah, but it's like when there's 3 outs left in the World Series and one team's up by 11. It's like, I'm pretty sure they're going to win the World Series. Like, I'm not trying to make that type of prediction.
Yeah.
So
I wonder what their win percentage is. You know?
Yeah.
So I want to get your thoughts on this. No, fine. No, go ahead.
Listen.
You're so much more than the rest of us. Go ahead.
I wanted to ask, because I saw this clip on Twitter, and I don't know if it was you or if it was somebody else, but I saw somebody playing the show, and they were doing Road to the Show, which I'm guessing was not you.
Certainly
but
not.
The dude hit a liner up the middle, and then this guy just ran straight to third base and slid into third.
The batter did?
Yeah, and it
He went from home to third?
Yeah, he just homed to third.
That's triple. Like watching TikToks of 4-year-old T-ball players learning how to play the game, and then they all just tackle each other because they also think it's football.
Yeah.
That's what happens there.
I was like, dude, imagine the slugging percentage you could put up with that base running ability.
It's efficiency. I give the kid credit.
That strikes me as just cannon fodder for all the people on Reddit to be like, this game sucks. I don't care about Road to the Show, you know, which is true. But
that's why, like, that's why when you asked me about how I feel about the game and when I recorded my podcasts for tomorrow, I explicitly led both conversations off with, I want to be clear, I like the game, but we do have to acknowledge some poopy stuff.
So, okay, so here's my first question. And again, I don't have the game yet, so I really want to know. Correct me if I'm wrong. My understanding is that they went kind of crazy this year and said, okay, in like 2-strike counts and stuff, your contact no longer matters. It's now your clutch.
So close. Basically, if there's a runner in scoring position,
okay,
no matter the inning, which I might disagree with a little bit because I don't think a runner on second with 1 out in the first is an enormous deal. But when there's a runner in scoring position, your clutch, whatever rating that is, replaces your contact versus the handedness of the pitcher. Whether it's better or worse. If you have 125 contact but 80 clutch, your clutch now is your contact, your attribute. Right? Yeah, so I'm feeling it out. I don't dislike it. I appreciate their efforts to make every attribute actually a thing, because previously, like, clutch was just a dead attribute on a card. I don't think it like impacted the overall, but it didn't actually do anything, if that makes sense. Vision now matters, to add on to that, because when you play online, your vision window is cut in half. When you play offline, you get the full size of the vision. But let's say you have, I don't know, 120 to make it easy for math. 120 vision on offline, you have a nice big PCI. You have that same 120 vision online, but it's just the size of 60 because they've cut it in half. And that's in an effort to theoretically decrease foul balls, make it harder to hit, make it a true competitive game. And I've noticed it. The PCIs on All-Star are definitely a lot smaller than I'm used to. Hitting is different. I'm excited to see where it takes us. It's still too early to tell. I keep trying to stress that to everybody I talk to who asks me for my opinion, because the game is 3.5 days old, at least at time of recording. But I'm ready for it. I'm ready to see where it goes.
Okay.
Right. It seems to me, and again, I haven't played the game. I want to keep saying that because I'm talking out of turn, really. But the thing I don't understand is, I could understand saying, okay, we want clutch to matter, right? Mm-hmm. So why wouldn't you have it be like, if you have really high clutch, it'll go up, like your contact goes up a little bit, or it'll go down a little bit if you have low clutch. But to just swap them seems kind of bizarre. Like, at that point, why even bother having them be separate attributes? Like, at that point, why don't you just have it be your contact with runners in scoring position? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think there could have been a better way to explain it, or a better way to utilize it. Like my example of runner on second with 1 out in the first. Sure, it's probably important to score that runner. I wouldn't necessarily call you a clutch player if you hit a single to drive him in, but maybe it should be something that's only with 2 outs, or maybe it's only 6th inning or later. Maybe if the game is only separated by 3 runs, like maybe there's some other qualifier that makes it less impactful for the entire game. Again, nobody in the world has played the game enough to know if it's actually a critical change or not. Mm-hmm. So we'll have to see. I would imagine most people who are good with their PCI, doesn't matter if it's a huge window or a little window. It shouldn't matter. And because of the way content is, people are going to have such good cards so fast that everybody's stats are going to be juiced anyway. So I don't think it's going to actually make an enormous difference.
I do appreciate that they're trying out new things.
100%.
I don't know if I love everything they're doing. And the other thing that I think is strange is that contact is pretty straightforward. You look at a player and you go, okay, he's good at making contact, so he'll have this kind of contact, like Derek Jeter or whatever. And they obviously botch it, and sometimes we'll have a problem with the way they do the cards, but it's pretty straightforward. It makes sense. A guy with a high batting average should have a high contact, and low. How do they come up with a clutch attribute is what I want to know. You know what I mean? Because like Yankees fans might say that A-Rod wasn't clutch when the rest of the league will say A-Rod was one of the greatest players ever.
Yeah, and it's funny too, because like the thing is, sure, there are baseball statistics for clutch. Like what's your batting average with runners in scoring position? That is relatively straightforward. But at the same time, me and my friend, who is a large advanced stats person, and I don't disagree with him, I'm just bringing him up as an example. Clutch is not an attribute. Like, yeah,
it's not a real thing.
You can't measure. He likes to make the joke, you can't measure a player's X nervousness.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I have like F4 and B4. Like, he doesn't have a B nervousness. Like, we don't know how they're feeling at the plate with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. So
Right.
It could just be another at bat that he happened to get a single in. The same result could have happened with nobody on in the second. Like, it is kind of a trivial, artificial stat to some degree. That's why a lot of people don't take it seriously.
Mm.
While I understand SDS wanting to make a quote unquote realistic baseball simulation, I think we could just eliminate the clutch statistic entirely, because it doesn't matter if Mike Trout video game is clutch. It matters if Kenny, the user of Mike Trout in the video game, is clutch.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I mean, like, I like the idea of having, who's at the plate matter a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, like I said, I know this is controversial. I have seen people do clutch things, but I don't think clutch exists.
Can you give me one example of a clutch thing? Because I'm interested.
Like, for example,
because you
Bryce
made it seem
Harper.
as if it's an off baseball thing. Like, I've seen people do clutch things. Like, that person saved the cat.
Not in baseball.
Yeah.
Okay. Does it have to be mundane? Or
I don't know. You tell me.
Because I'm thinking like that guy in Afghanistan who got shot and then dragged like 6 other dudes back to safety.
Clutch.
That's
and
clutch
heroic.
as hell.
And heroic.
He has a clutch gene.
Yeah, he's got that clutch gene. He's got that it factor.
Here, ready? You want to know clutch that's baseball but not? George Bush throwing a first pitch strike after 9/11.
Yeah.
What a seed that was. An absolute yeah. Yes.
That, listen, love him or hate him, you've got to give it to George Bush, the best pitching president we've ever had in this country.
Yeah, where's our 99 George Bush card?
Yeah, and if you don't throw it from the rubber, they're gonna boo you. Derek Jeter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's true. And he was right.
Yeah.
And also Derek Jeter, he said that, and he was so right that he got a card with 96 fielding this year. I
was gonna bring it up. You beat me. I want to make Yankees fan for life. That's Derek Jeter right there. That's him.
There he is.
After he walked it off at Yankee Stadium in his final at bat at Yankee Stadium. I just want to make one statement. Ramon, I know you're listening. I appreciate your love of Derek Jeter. I appreciate that you gave his signature series 96 fielding. However, I, as a realistic Yankee fan and baseball fan, would like to tell you that you are ludicrous, because that man, he was not as bad as people say. He was also not that good. I think if you smacked him with like a hot 82 fielding, I would have been fine with it.
Yeah.
A generous 82. You know what I mean? You're juiced.
A little generous, but I mean, 96 is certainly generous.
Well, I think
96.
if you're going with like an all-time Jeter, like the amalgamation of everything he ever did the best.
If the 96 fielding is based off the jump throw and the time he flew into the stands, and those two
that wasn't even impressive. I mean, the jump throw was cool, but
the jump throw, yes,
the jump throw was more.
Wasn't even impressive. He just made a play and then kept running and running. Like,
but
it was grit. He had grit in that situation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was clutch. Yeah. It was clutch. So
that was his guts above replacement.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So bringing up Derek Jeter leads us into one of the things that SDS has a lot of problems. Their content is usually very good. You know what I mean? And they had a problem in 2022 where they just gave up on the game in like November, like halfway through the game's life cycle. They kind of were just like, all right.
I'm pretty sure that was purposeful to work on 23, but no less frustrating. Like,
dude, just put one guy in an office just to give us a John Smoltz card every month. Like, come on.
Yeah, let the interns do it.
Yeah, exactly. But that aside, it seems to me, and again, I don't have the game, but it seems to me, just from watching people on YouTube, people like yourself, Kenny, it seems to me like the content is unbelievable again. Would you agree?
Yes, and I will say this. Hats off, respect to the people at SDS who decided to take a shot and be like, let's totally make content nothing like it's ever been before. Too early to see if it's going to be a hit or miss. We're not going to be able to tell if it's going to be a hit or miss until October, November. We got to give it time.
Mm-hmm.
But I think SDS reflected upon itself, hopefully, and said, what is our biggest content flaw? Timing. Because A, we'll release a card on Monday that has a better card or a better replacement by Friday, Saturday. That's one problem. And two, it's like, we'll give you the best right fielder you've ever seen in June, and then the 99 we drop 2 months later is the worst 99 you've ever seen. And that doesn't make sense. Cards should continually get better. So by dropping everything, essentially, right away, and scaling the progress appropriately, which I think they've mostly done at least early in this season 1, set 1 nonsense, this new language we got to learn. I'm pretty sure it's going to be okay. My only concern is that I don't know if you guys are John Mulaney comedy fans. I'm going to make a real deep cut reference right now. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll send you the link after.
I'm not going to get it, but I'll pretend.
Go for it.
He opens one of his comedy specials with a bit about going too big too fast. I am not going to recite it word for word, as I am not a comedian. But,
allegedly.
Thank you. The analogy he makes is that, have you ever made a happy birthday sign before? You start with a big ass H and a big ass A, and you realize you're already halfway across the poster board and you don't have enough room to write the rest of happy, let alone the word birthday underneath. So if you go too big too fast, you leave yourself no room at the end. So I'm hoping they're not wasting all their energy right now to just forget about the game later on in the year, if that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, I do understand what you're saying. And I think one of the things that's sort of buoying it at this point is the WBC, because that just happened and it's not going to happen again. You know what I mean? So, like, you got to pump it all out now. I mean, you don't have to, but obviously it makes sense to.
It doesn't make sense to do that 2 months from now. Like,
it would be a little silly to, like, do it, have it trickle in. Like, you might as well just capitalize on it now. Although I do love the addition of the WBC. I know everybody does. But one of the things I think is cool is that it showed every year they go out and they get, 25 to 50 maybe new legends every year. And they'll lose some along the way. And so, that's 25 to 50 guys they individually went to and said, hey, the Kirby Puckett estate will offer you this much money. Great. Yeah. Okay, done. I think that's how it works. I don't know.
Right, but the Shane Victorino estate.
Yeah, the Shane Victorino estate, exactly. The WBC, like, they already have new guys like the effervescent Chili Davis to go with Derek Jeter. And then they went to the WBC, and I don't know how they got all these rights, but they went crazy.
I love that they went, hello, Mr. Columbia, can we have all your players, please? Like,
yeah, exactly. They were like, hi, we're looking for Kunquan Giljigaljaw. All right. Yeah. How much will you take for your rights?
Can you tell me, is that how you actually say it?
I think I know now. I think it's Gilligalau.
I'm going to YouTube it because, God forbid, I ever have to say it on accident while recording. I'd like to know how it's said.
So we ran into this when we were reviewing Team Taiwan, because we saw this guy's name and we were like, well.
And, like, you try to be respectful, right? Like, obviously I'm not trying to insult anybody's name. Everyone's got different cultures where names come from. Like, listen, I'm literally not trying to offend anybody. But at the same time, you look at that name and you can't help but go, like, how do I say this?
Yeah. I'm sure there's names in English that are like that for other people. I mean, look at how many different ways you can pronounce the OUGH in English.
I work in college sports journalism, and the amount of ways I've learned that parents spell Caitlin blows my mind.
Oh yeah, I believe it.
Like, just any random combination of sounds that kind of fit, they'll use them.
But I mean, on one hand, I guess that makes sense. I mean, that's how names happen. They go, I want to name them this. Now we got to figure out how to spell that. And then, over time, we're just like, okay, so when people are going to be named Caitlin, there's one or two that, make the most sense. And then there's people who are going to spell it KEIGHTLYNNE. Yeah. And it's like, no.
And then get upset when I don't know that that's how you spell it correctly. It's like,
yeah, you're like, Keeglet. Oh, Caitlin.
Yeah.
You look at it and you go, Kunquan Gilligalau.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So what
to get back to your original point, because I think I know where we're going here. The World Baseball Classic cards are incredible.
Right.
I love, first of all, learning about the different players is super cool. Learning about their skill sets. That's the beauty of the World Baseball Classic, whether we got cards or not. But, like, I have the game up right now. So in my starting God squad, quote unquote, it's day 4 of the game. In my lineup right now.
Minor God squad.
Just in my batting lineup, as far as players from foreign countries that I now have, Munetaka Murakami is my third baseman.
Ooh.
Homie's got the sweetest swing I've ever seen.
I don't want to talk about him.
I know. Yeah. He's an enemy of the United States currently. Really, and of Mexico. He's an enemy of a lot of people.
He's a
He's
a war criminal.
Yeah. Sir Harry Ford is my favorite catcher in the game right now.
Yeah, that tea celebration, does he do it?
No, he does not. But how cool would that be?
Yeah, that would have been way too late to code in.
And this is incorrect, but in my opinion, the best card in the game. 95 overall, Edouard Julien, because you got to say it with a little bit of spice on it.
Yeah. That's true.
In 29 online at-bats, the smallest of sample sizes, we're hitting 621 with a 656 OBP.
Now, I do have to really fast. You said a little bit of spice. He's French Canadian. You got to put a little maple syrup on it.
Oh, a little bit of syrup, a little bit of zhuzh. You got to put a little bit of something in it.
Yeah.
And that's just my lineup. I mean, I'm going to make sure I say it right. I'm going to pull it up. Yoshi Yamamoto's my ace.
Okay.
Love him. I can't wait to get Roki Sasaki. Just incredible. I mean, and then there's the guys that we know already, like Loisaca, Duvall, Luis Robert, or Robert. We'll never know how to say Luis Robert's name. Randy Arozarena, he exists. Like, it's just an incredible way to start the game, capitalizing on all the excitement from the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah, and it's not just the regular old legends that we liked, where most of the time it's Ted Williams, Babe Ruth, and then every once in a while they'll hit you with I don't know, who was a terrible legend from last year that nobody cared
Steve Bedrosian got a card.
Bedrosian, yeah. or Jerry Hairston Jr., right?
He would have fit. So I haven't seen Jerry Hairston Jr. yet. The jury is out of
part of that, like,
he was in the leak. I haven't seen him yet.
Dude, I want it to be true so badly.
Steve Bedrosian is both a legend and somebody who would have fit in the Elmer Descends game.
Yeah, that's true. And also his kid Cam Bedrosian is also a good pick for that game.
Yes, he's on the. Is he still in the Angels? He was.
I don't even know if he's alive anymore, dog.
I hope he's alive.
Hopefully, yeah. The Angels have suffered enough.
All due respect to the Bedrosian estate, but I do really like that it's not just going out and getting legends that everybody knows about. It's bringing back like familiar faces that you wouldn't have otherwise thought of, like Danny Valencia, and then obviously there's Shohei Ohtani, who everybody likes, and then there are guys like Tim Kennelly, who's just some Australian guy, never played the big leagues, never will, but he gets a card. You know what I mean? Like, I love that.
Yeah.
It's really cool, and it obviously, like you said, gives the international baseball some respect, which it doesn't get otherwise in MLB The Show. But what's up with the whole ending at December 31st thing? Do you know what?
So I imagine because the World Baseball Classic is a once every. Is it supposed to be once every 4 years, and they're just doing it 3 years from now to get back on track?
To get back on schedule.
Yeah. Because it's a once every X amount of years scenario, I'm pretty sure like the licensing agreements, even for like World Baseball Classic related materials elsewhere, end after the calendar year. I, however, am not a lawyer, so I don't know if that's actually a true statement that came out of my mouth. But
I hate that. I kind of wish they would just have it now.
Well, so I don't know if they've addressed this anywhere. My confusion is, does your ability to earn the players go away on December 31st, or does Edouard Julien get Thanos snapped out of my lineup on December 31st? Like, is he gone?
Very good question.
So I don't know.
I don't like that second option. That sounds annoying to me.
I know. He has a family. He doesn't want to get snapped.
That's true. Yeah. Like, imagine how Taiwan's going to feel when Yu Chang just disappears off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
In MLB The Show. Imagine how digital
He'll still have his bronze live series card, unless he has the biggest glow up of any player of all time. He'll still have a bronze.
Yeah. He'll still be there in spirit. It'd be a nice 72.
I think that's even too much.
Yeah, I was gonna say
that's a little bold.
I think he's like a 67 right now.
All right. The kind of guy that you overlook even in what's a battle royale.
Oh yeah, he comes up and you go, crap, what a terrible round. Like, he's that type of guy.
You're like, I guess I'm losing this one.
Yeah, like redraft. He's the guy you see and you go, oh, it's a redraft.
Exactly. So how is gameplay treating you, by the way? They obviously changed the throwing meters. We already talked about the whole clutch versus contact, things like that. What else is going on?
Gameplay is okay. It is better than 22. It is at times more rewarding because I think it has to. I'm not a technological person, so I'm going to try my best to explain this. But now that the game is optimized for current gen, they're calling PlayStation 5 and Xbox current gen now as opposed to next gen. We're only 2 years behind the 8 ball there. Yeah, but now that the game is optimized for the correct generation, I think it was built better. So I can see the pitches coming at me, even on higher difficulties. I can read a pitch's break a lot earlier. Like, sinkers don't look like they're just doing this on the way to the plate. Like, they make sense. So I have found myself walking more than ever before, which is tough because my finger is pinned on that X button, ready to swing. I have also noticed my opponents taking a lot more pitches, which is incredibly frustrating, but fair. If I'm not going to throw strikes, you shouldn't have to swing. I think it'll be okay. I think it will end up being one of the better gameplay additions that we've had in a while. Like I mentioned before, like the lineouts and the perfect, like those are gameplay issues that need to be fixed, and I think they will be. But I think we're headed in the right direction. I think all the hype that they built up through February and March has paid off so far.
So one of the things that I want to know about is the fielding meters. We don't have to get into exactly how they changed it, but they basically made it a lot harder to throw accurately, which they needed to do because it was kind of at the point where it's like, if you can get to the ball, you can get the runner out, which is not the case in real life, because if you dive and make an incredible stop, you still might have a really difficult throw, a la Derek Jeter. So I worry, though, from playing the tech test that they might have gone a little too far, because now, and it could just be the adjustment period of the game, people settle in, like, no problem. But now it's like really difficult sometimes.
So 2 things I've learned about it. You're not wrong. 2 things I've learned about it.
I never am.
That's true. That's true.
Number 1 is the meter thingy that actually, your input meter that you are stopping along the bar moves a lot slower now than you think.
Okay.
So if you can keep that in the back of your mind, thinking, I don't have to rush, that will help. I know that's hard to visualize with me just saying it, but once you hold the game and play it more, you'll see what I mean. And then secondly, I've gotten much better already. Granted, I've played an ungodly amount in the last 3 days. But what's the best way to say it? The best adjustment you can make is just learning when the meter is going to be weird. You will very quickly learn what plays trigger what type of throw meter action. And so you're not necessarily caught off guard when it's like, oh my God, this thing's moving like crazy. It ends up making sense. I have found that the hardest throws to make come from the outfield. The infield throws, I'm like 90 to 95% making it the right way. So I'm getting better. Again, it comes with timing. Again, it comes with learning when it will be triggered. There is RNG to it with the first baseman having to make picks. Obviously, it's based off their fielding meter or fielding attribute. But when it decides to trigger the negative part of the fielding attribute versus the positive side is entirely up to Ramon. So that's a little funky. You can save yourself by just never throwing pick plays, always throwing it in the green portion of the meter.
Right. Yeah, that is one potential solution.
Yeah,
just be perfect.
That part of it I actually do like. I mean, not like you're saying how like random it can be, but in all the other games before that, it was green, you make the throw, no problem, every single time.
I agree.
Yellow, it pulls him off the bag, but it's not an error. I mean, it's an error, but you pull him off the bag, no extra base. And then red, it's an error. You know, he gets second base. So I do like that now it's like you can mess it up and get it in the yellow, and your guy still might pick it. Or, you know what I mean? Or he might just sort of knock it down and the guy's safe. Like, I do like that it's like yellow is sort of more in between now than it was just, nope, he's safe, sorry.
And I do like that the meter is scaled now more appropriately to like your player's throwing accuracy. Like, Jeremy Pena, the 97 card that he has already, is one of my favorite early game cards so far. Jeremy Pena's swing last year was not good. I think it's a lot better now. He, however, is a little bit erratic from shortstop. He gets to everything. He's very athletic, very fast, has a great arm, but he's not super accurate with the whole throwing thing. So I have airmailed and killed some children with his throws, but I've gotten better.
Oh,
and
thank God.
I've learned how it works, and I'm not, just hitting people in the temple anymore.
Yeah. You've given it the old Evan Longoria.
Oh, yeah.
If you make a diving stop, is it always in the same spot for the same kind of play, or is it like more random if it's a harder play?
That's a good question. I haven't played enough to notice that yet. I'm going to start. I haven't really paid attention to it because you're just so laser focused on where is the green. I have to get in the green. You're not really noticing patterns in that way. But I will say, like, if you have to range to your right or left on a ball, the meter is going to be somewhere, generally speaking, relatively in the same place. So you know kind of what your timing is going to look like. If you have to, like, crash in on a weak grounder, your meter's going to move. You know that you have to pay attention to where it's going. The only plays that are, like, traditional meter where they've been before are kind of like, obviously, one's right at you, one's, like, a couple steps to your left or right. it's really the ones that you've got a range for, or maybe there's going to be a super tight play at the bag that you have to pay attention to where it's going to be.
Okay.
But that's just in the infield. In the outfield, it's a nightmare. In the outfield, throwing from any position in the outfield to home, whether it's a short throw or a long throw, is not fun. If you hit the cutoff, it's very simple because they really want you to hit the cutoff. But if you're going straight to the base, it's tough.
Okay, so the outfield throwing system was designed by everybody's high school coach.
Yeah, hit the cut. It's the guy who wants you to stand as the cutoff man like this. You ever have to give people the window? It's like, hit him in the window. It's that.
Yeah, and then they're always like, dude, they'll have some kid who's like, this kid's going pro. He throws 97 from the outfield on the dot. And they're like, I want you hitting the cutoff man. Like, dude, why? The cutoff man's just going to drop it. He's like, he's 15.
You're going to put a hole in his palm. Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds to me like we need a legend Jeff Francoeur just to get rid of that for everybody.
Yes.
God, he had a hose.
Yeah. Who was the guy who did it in Coors Field? Was that Jose Guillen, maybe?
Oh, he had a hose too.
Yeah, you know about that play where he nails Nafy Perez at third base? Yeah, Nafy Perez is a good name too.
Jose Guillen kind of is a name too. Like he had some good, like several good seasons, but he kind of fits that mold of, I forgot about him.
Yeah.
Probably because he had his good years with the Royals for the most part.
Well, this comes back to, because that's got me thinking about it. Jose Guillen would be fun in the game. I do love all the content, and I love that they go after the big names. Like people wanted Willie Mays, they got Willie Mays. People wanted Mickey Mantle, all that, they got him. I do really miss, like, I feel like back in the day, maybe 2015, 2016, they used to do tons of bronze and silvers, flashbacks, and even commons and stuff. And that was so much fun. And now it's like every BR program, you get 4 bronzes, 4 common, whatever. And that's that. And then, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then there's no other reason for them to drop anything less than a gold.
So you're a big fan then. You're a big fan then of the fact that they added Ryan Ludwig to the game this year.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Like I wish
speaking of the nice bronze.
Yeah, like I wish they would go out there and be like, hey guys, here's a juiced Ross Glode. Enjoy your civic. Like how much fun would that be?
Like if they brought back former Mets legend Mike Jacobs and just gave his best card like a 77 overall.
I like that you determined he was a Mets legend.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like Phillies legend Wilson Ramos.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I really do wish they would go out there and find a bunch of like the Chris Sabos of the world who are like fun. Everybody would love playing with that card, but like not a diamond,
Yeah.
A nice Gary Gaetti.
Yeah. But I also
Tanyan Sturts.
On the Tanyan Sturts. On the same token, just to play devil's advocate, I do appreciate that. All right, so let's say Ross Glode, because his name is fun. Let's say Ross Glode's 69 overall bronze card is like, what if that's literally your favorite swing in the game, right? Not even playing like that. His swing, for whatever reason, is your favorite swing in the game. You hit so well with that card. You will never use that card in ranked seasons unless they find a way to give him a high diamond. But because of the way they do content, if you had one good inning in your entire life, you're eligible for a 99. So
True.
Maybe he gets a weird milestone card. Maybe he gets like a prospect card. Maybe they find some way to give guys 99s. And I kind of like the way that they go about that. There are definitely some creative liberties taken. There are definitely some instances where
they pretty much only get really good players. And there are guys like Ryan Ludwig who you're like weird, but like Ryan Ludwig at his best was a diamond. Like Ryan Ludwig
probably
was good for a couple of years.
Yeah, like 2008, Ryan Ludwig is definitely.
It just creates some scaling problems where you have potentially a Ryan Ludwig 99 is better or equal to a Mickey Mantle 99.
Yes,
and that doesn't make any sense.
That they run into. And I don't know how you fix that, but this is one of the things. And I think we talked about this like a year ago when we had you on, but I still am a proponent of this. Take the cap off the parallel system. If you want to sink 200 hours in,
let it keep going
to getting a 99 overall Ross Glode, God bless you. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Or make it, or even if you double it to P10 and the increase or the difference between P5, P6, P7, it continues to get wider. Yeah, it will take you a full game cycle to get you to P10.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. But like I do want there to be a way that and I know I was listening to our previous episode to bone up on my Kenny DeJohn knowledge, and I do
nice.
Sorry, just to bone up on Kenny DeJohn.
Can you hit the soundboard button where it makes a funny noise for that? No, thank you. Perfect.
There's Paulie Walnuts for you. But like
I got to keep it up. I gotta be ready.
I remember you said that, like, you had this idea of like a golden ticket. Like, I really like the idea that if you want to say, I'm going to take every single player from Florida in the game and make him amazing, go ahead. You know what I mean? If you want to take the time to do it, go ahead. Because you can have 99s anyway. So if you want to have a 99, Ross Glode, go ahead. Why not?
Yeah, I think that'd be super interesting. You'd have to make it incredibly rare, but yes, I do think or maybe like every single player starts the game cycle with one golden ticket and like use it as you wish. Be very careful with how you use it. It's like when you get the Master Ball in Pokemon, it's like, oh God, am I never going to use it because I don't know the right situation, or am I going to use it immediately? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That classic video game thing where something's valuable, so you never use it.
Exactly.
You're like, oh, I gotta. Like, I got this item that fully heals you, so I got to save him for the right situation. And then the game ends. And you're like, well, I didn't use any of them.
Yeah.
But, like, I do like the idea of you can pick, like, oh, I want, dude, I'm the biggest Jordani Valdespin fan who has ever lived. And I really hate that he's a 47 overall in the game. So I want to use my golden ticket to turn him into a 99. And then he can be the centerpiece of all your lineups. You can be fun fact
about Jordani Valdespin. I used to work with someone at my old job named Jordan, who was a huge Mets fan. And one day out of nowhere, Valdespin was not on the team anymore. I just started calling him Jordani Valdespin, and I call him that to this day.
As you should.
Okay. Yeah. So you looked at him and you said,
well, his name is Jordan. And it's kind of like,
yeah. Well, listen, I'm a major proponent of all things Jordani Valdespin, so I got your back on this one.
Thank you.
He has been one of my go-to rando players for decades at this point.
He's a good one.
Those are the kind of things you got to do in this life. Like, we still refer to when every base is occupied, it is bases gloated.
Bases gloated. I like to. I have some certain sayings like that, and I don't even know what specifically I'm talking about, but I know there are like, I say things that everyone goes, what? But like, that's how it associates in my head.
Right.
Yeah, I say that because me and Tom and his brother Brian hang out so much. And like, we sort of just speak in references at this point. Like, we don't even say, oh, remember that time? We just go, Sheets. And he goes, yep, exactly. He knows what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. And so it's like we just speak in references. And I describe it as like, I worked with this guy named Jake who figured it out. Like, we hung out with so much that he eventually figured out what we were talking about all the time. And he is now fluent in our dialect of the English language.
That's better than Rosetta Stone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So Kenny, we're at we said 750 as a cutoff. We're at 748. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we get into a little Melvin Mora?
I would like to put out a PSA.
Oh.
It's not a controversial one.
Oh, so okay.
I
don't have a sound effect for not controversial.
Well, after I say my piece, let's see which sound best fits what I said.
Okay, I got you.
That's a new game. You can call it Anthony Volpe, future Yankees Hall of Famer.
Whoa, Victus customer. I'm doing his bats tomorrow.
I do think that, as I said, MLB The Show 23 is better than 22. I have acknowledged potential flaws that I'm not ready to be overly concerned about just yet. But don't let, whether you've played this game for 4 days already or whether you're just getting it on like general public release night.
Like me.
Yes, which is fine. I'm not criticizing.
There's anything wrong with that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Give the game a chance. Don't, like, if your first swing is a piss rod line out to center field, don't say, oh, it's the same game again, and punt your controller out the window. Like, give it time. SDS last year was very bad at communication. And as we said, they probably just said F22. We know this game sucks. Let's make 23 really good. That gives me hope that because they've already put so much effort into 23, they will not let it die mid-cycle. The storylines stuff, which I haven't even played yet, was such a passion project for them. There are so many things about this game that clearly they care about because they've taken some risks. I think they're going to fix stuff. So just give it a chance. Play it. Maybe don't play it if you're really that frustrated, but if they make the updates, come back, give it a chance, level head, let's all be civilized human beings, which I know is hard for most of us, but give it a shot.
So what you're saying,
we are literally men in our basement on the internet.
That's
correct.
True.
This is in fact a basement. There are no windows down here.
I'm in my basement. Yeah, I'm
in my basement.
See?
So what you're saying, Kenny,
yes,
for all of our adoring fans, is don't get angry, okay? Your attitude should be,
I want to play a game.
That's what it should be.
Yes. Don't get
And
mad.
then
glad.
later, if maybe, if you hit 30 piss rods to center field for outs, then you can go.
I despise him.
You can look at the game. You can say that.
Yes. Yes.
So
If you hit
all
them,
right.
if you hit them all with a certain Mets first baseman, you might say.
Mets first. Oh, then you might say.
I hate Keith. Hate him.
All right, let's.
I love the soundboard. If my podcast was not just me, I'd try to do a soundboard too. But if it's just me speaking and initiating the soundboard, it'd seem like I'm leading them on a little bit.
I was going
don't
to say,
know. I mean, the channel that I got the idea from is one guy who just sits there and just mashes sound effects, like he's just.
I don't know if you guys are Parks and Rec people, but they have the Dick in Parks and Rec. He's the radio host, and
Right.
it's a very raunchy men's talk about pee-pees and wee-wees all the time on this radio show, and he's got the most obnoxious soundboard there is. It's funny.
I think you should go for it and make it a game. Like, you now have to challenge yourself to set up the sound effects you're going to use.
Or I randomize the order they're in every single podcast, and I just see what initiates what button.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like that. You know what?
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
And he's right. So,
All
Kenny,
right, so-
it's time. We
It is.
explain Melvin Mora real fast for our legions of adoring fans.
Yes.
Melvin Mora is a simple game. One of us pulls up a roster, and the other players involved have to name every single player they can, and if they get stumped, I can help them out, right? And so the goal is to basically, you'll know the stars. The goal is basically to go, wow, that guy was on the bench. That's the point of the game.
No,
right?
is the goal the 25 man, the 40 man? What are we talking here?
Sorry, the 25 man. Although
It's as deep as you can get it, but
Yeah.
generally only.
mean,
So you
would
pull up the
probably-
baseball reference page, and whoever exists on it. is good.
Exactly. Yeah. So there might be a guy who got one at bat in the middle of the year.
Yeah.
I'll still try and give him to you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Sure.
So I've pulled up here. I know you're a Yankees fan. I wanted to pick up a bad Yankees team.
Okay.
Oh,
So I picked 2013. That's a year.
Okay.
That's a year they missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
And
All right.
you can get first crack at it. You can go around the diamond if you like. You could just start naming names, and I'll come in. Tom's obviously a guest or two, unless you
Right.
have that, Tom. And I can help you out if you get stuck.
Okay.
Now, is the catcher Francisco Cervelli?
He's
No.
on the team, but it's Jorge.
Is it
It
still
is
Jorge
not.
Posada, dude?
It is not.
Jorge must have been
Whoa.
2012. He retired then.
Yeah, this team is a wasteland.
So it's is it like the Russell Martin years?
Oh, it probably
no,
is.
it's just past Russell Martin. Cervelli is on the bench, by the way.
Okay.
All right, so we'll come back to that.
This
Let's get the big
this
boys
catcher
out of the
was
way.
The ultimate glove first guy.
Oh God.
At catcher?
Yeah, he was bad, dude.
Is it
Try
Jeff
to-
Mathis?
Oh, he was
No.
he was a Yankee in the minors, I think, at one point.
You're on the right track.
I
but we-
try to erase these teams from my memory. Let's get the easy ones out of the way.
Yeah,
Teixeira was there. Sabathia was there.
No,
was,
right?
Burnett was probably gone by that point. Cano was still there.
Burnett is not there.
Yeah, Burnett was gone.
Yeah,
at that
we're
point.
probably at Pirates Burnett at this
Jeter
point.
was in his final stages there.
Yeah, Jeter
Uh,
only played 17 games.
Yeah, he was hurt.
Wow.
A-Rod was obviously there. We just got the starting infield done.
Mhm.
Cervelli was behind the plate a little bit, but we've acknowledged he's not the starter.
Yeah.
Okay. Is this the Curtis Granderson outfield?
Grandy was
Granderson
there.
was on there.
Swisher was gone.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So who's his? Is this Matt Holliday?
Or
Oh no, that's
no,
way
it's way. I was going to say
Wait.
Xavier Nady. It's way after Xavier Nady.
Is this the Alfonso Soriano year?
No, he's gone.
Ah,
Oh, Soriano's on the bench. Their
Oh,
left.
that's right. He came back for a hot
Yeah.
sec.
Their left fielder is it, dude. This is another corpse. You would remember him as a good Blue Jay.
Vernon Wells. Oh,
Yeah.
I had a friend who I also used to write for Bleacher Report way back before it was like a big media enterprise. This was when I could just make an account and write whatever I wanted.
right.
And he made a headline. You might still be able to find it. I don't know. Vernon Wells was just traded for living, breathing humans. That was the headline of the story. This was when I think the Angels traded him, maybe.
Yeah, was this the Mike
yeah.
Napoli deal?
It might have been. I can't recall exactly when. But yeah, all right. Vernon Wells. I forgot that he was there for way too long.
The center fielder, I'll give this one to Tom. The center fielder is the greatest gaslighter.
Oh,
ever.
Brett Gardner.
Yeah. The story behind that, Kenny, is Brett Gardner evidently had to go to court because some woman, I don't know what the problem was, but some woman was like stalking him. He was like getting a restraining order, and she was like, "No, Brett's in love with me. Like the way he looks up at the seats, I can tell he love." And then he's like, "What are you talking about?" And I was talking to Tom, and I was like, "I really like the idea that Brett Gardner is like winking at her and stuff, and she's not crazy, and she's going to court." And he's like, "Nah, I don't know what you're talking about."
Listen, I've watched Brett Gardner literally start to finish his entire career. That man doesn't wink. He is not the winking.
Well, that's what he wants you to think.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. See, he's got you too. He's got you too.
I guess. Melky is definitely on that team somewhere.
I feel like he might have been like a Royal or a Brave at that point.
In 2013? No, he was definitely still there. Really?
I don't see him. I'm sorry.
Wow.
That is stunning.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
All right. We can keep going. So the starting infield you haven't gotten because all the good guys were banged up. You got Cano at second base. First base is hilarious. You'll know.
Well, Teixeira played. At least I got him.
Yeah. No.
Right.
All the guys you mentioned are on the team, but
Yeah.
the most amount of games played. First base you would remember as a Blue Jay. Not particularly good. I mean, he was fine.
Like
Lyle
Overbay.
Yeah,
I love Lyle
wow.
Overbay. I love that dude.
All right, shortstop was actually pretty good. I think he went to the Twins and was pretty good. He was like a utility guy. So in my head,
Twins after?
yeah, in my head, this guy, Jorge Polanco, and Eduardo Escobar are the same person.
Brandon Harris.
No. He's like a Hispanic guy. He was an all-star one year.
I mean, dude, the Twins have like 40 of that guy.
I can give it to you. You guys can tap out if you want. No shame in saying give it.
I'm not ready to tap out yet.
All right, we can move on. We can come back to it if you want.
Yeah, because I feel like I should know it.
We got to get the catcher.
And the third baseman was not A-Rod because he was banged up.
Because he was, I think he got suspended that year.
Yeah.
Oh.
Banged up by the
Was
law.
it Chase Headley?
No, dude, this is a bad.
Chase Headley is my least favorite Yankee of all time.
Wow,
Well,
really?
I think you're a year early on Chase Headley. I think
Because Chase Headley is a horrible baseball player, even at his peak. And Yankees fans were like, I love Chase Headley. This guy sucks.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Chase Headley, I'm out. Okay, the third baseman is a utility guy through and through. He's a Phillies great. His brother was a Phillies great.
Oh, I know this. I know who this is.
Is it Cody Ransom?
Yeah, when I say Phillies great, he was not great. Like,
I know who this is. It's fuck, I know who it is.
They both have an extra Y in their name.
Oh, I know who it is. Oh, it's hurting me to my core because I can picture the movements from New York to Philly, and I know who it is.
I know I'm gonna kick myself.
His brother was like a lefty slugging first baseman for a couple of years.
Oh my God, it hurts.
Oh wait, no, it's not one of the LaRoches, is it?
No. That's a good guess. There. Think of a Giants wide receiver named Hakeem.
Oh, dude, that's a bad hint. I don't know.
I thought you might be a Giants fan, Kenny.
I am Hakeem Nicks.
Lance Nix.
No,
Jason Nix.
Jason Nicks. Yeah.
Lance Nix, an outfielder.
Yeah. God, he played. Oh my! I forgot he played that much. Jesus Christ.
So we already said Brett Gardner. Right field is a Hall of Famer, not a Yankee Hall of Famer.
No, Brady was gone. That was stupid thing. He's not even a Hall of Famer. He should be.
He should be.
Yeah, he probably will be eventually.
I always forget this guy was a Yankee. He was traded there from the AL West.
I'm assuming if you give us the team, that's gonna give it away.
He later got 3,000 hits as a member of the Marlins.
Johnny Damon? No.
The Marlins? He didn't play for Marlins.
I can give it away if you want.
No, give us a little extra time.
A little taste. Give us something.
He recently had his jersey displayed at the World Baseball Classic in the final game.
Oh, Ichiro.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yankees great.
I was at the game to these players because the Yankees are great at acquiring players well past their prime for like 90 games. I was at Ichiro's first Yankee home run, which is a meaningless game to be at, but I remember it.
Well,
as you should. That's what baseball's about, creating memories.
Yeah.
Dude, the first baseball game I ever went to, I watched Tomo Oka pitch and my mind was blown. So that I understand how you feel. The DH is a good one. You remember him as an Indian.
Travis Hafner.
Yeah.
Oh, Pronk.
Yeah.
Pronk. We got A-Rod. Okay,
he's not Pronk anymore by the time he goes to the Yankees. He's Travis.
Like, he's
I don't know who David Adams is.
David Adams, my dude.
You know who that is?
Now, is this the pitching staff? Because bad team had a lot of pitchers. CC, was Daryl Rasner on this team?
No.
I think he was roughly around that point.
I've never heard that name before.
Yeah, that might have been a game renamer if he got that one.
There is a fat former Philly in the bullpen here.
There's a lot of
Which
them.
one?
We talk about this guy a lot, Tom.
You just
He was a dead ringer for my brother.
Oh, wait, Mike Zagurski?
Mike Zagurski, Yankee.
Oh, God. I don't even remember him. What did he pitch? Like 11 games?
Yeah, he was really fat. That was like all you had to know about him.
Dude, I want you to know, I accidentally muted you, and all I heard was my brother at the end, and I was like, oh, Mike Zagurski.
David Robertson's on this team because he seems like he's a perpetual Yankee.
David Robertson is.
Okay.
There's another reliever you should absolutely get.
Tyler Clippard?
He might have been traded. By
Wait a minute. I said a Yankee reliever you should absolutely get. You say Tyler Clippard.
Tyler Clippard was a Yankee, and then he was traded immediately.
Okay,
Yeah,
so Mariano.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
The second most well-known Yankee reliever of all
Next
time
to David
after
Robertson.
Tyler Clippard.
This guy got screwed up by midges.
Jabba, my
Chamberlain.
Yeah.
dude. Ian Kennedy was long gone at that point.
Ian Kennedy was gone. That's how they got Granderson.
He was like dead at that point.
We can go back to the rotation. There's some good names in here. There's a Japanese guy who was pretty good.
Masa?
Kuroda?
Oh, Hiroki Kuroda. That's right.
Kuroda,
Masa
yeah.
was later.
There's a
Masahiro Tanaka is one of my favorite pitchers of all time, by the way.
Yeah?
Still
Okay.
floating around in Japan, I think.
I miss him. The year the Yankees decided not to re-sign him actually made me sad for like 3 days.
I'm sorry. I'll comfort you.
That's kind of how I felt when the Phillies traded Chase Utley. I was like, it's the end of an era.
I mean, it was time. There's a Yankees great on here.
Chad Curtis.
Was this Andy Pettit's like 34th go around with the Yankees?
It was the end of Andy Pettit.
Shoot.
Yeah.
This guy was the next big thing for the Yankees, and he was always decent. He was like a hybrid reliever guy for a long time. And then he went to the Twins and won No, he didn't win anything. He just was good as a Twin.
Oh, Phil Hughes.
Yeah, Phil Hughes.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how to give you some of these. There's another guy who was like a hot shot Yankees prospect. He was like Dominican, and he came up. I think he was a Pirate like last year or the year before, maybe.
Jose Tabata.
Yeah, that's a great guess. No.
Damn it. Is it him?
No. This is a starting pitcher.
Starting pitcher.
Oh, so Jose Tabata.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how to give you this guy.
No, it's not. No, Jose Contreras was a long time before that.
Yeah, he was more of a suspect at that point.
Yeah. But like this is one of the ones I feel. Like I feel this one. Like
that's what's fun about the game. Exactly. I don't know how to give you this guy. He was not particularly good.
Was this a dude who got a lot of hype?
But I know it.
Right. He was like a pitch to contact guy. You know what I mean? He was like kind of short, I think.
Sound like Chin-Min Wong.
But he is another one of my favorite Yankees of all time.
Yeah.
He had a nickname, but that's going to give it away.
Damn it.
Righty or lefty? Can you give me that?
He was a righty.
If it was a lefty, he would have stayed out more.
He was active. He was a Detroit Tiger in 2020. That's a bad hint. I'm sorry. The Yankees traded him to the Pirates for Tito Polo and Steven Tarpley. So there you have it.
What a trade.
Yeah.
Really.
Tito Polo sounds like a shitty pool game.
Tito Polo is a good name. You want me to give it to you? I don't know how to give it to you.
At this point, give it to me, but it's gonna pain me.
He has a nickname, Supernova.
Oh, Ivan Nova. He's one of the worst pitchers ever. That man was a walking 5.4 ERA.
Oh!
He's horrible.
Dude, there are so many names on here that
now that I'm thinking of it, I'm glad we only got Steven Tarpley and Tito Orojo for him, whatever the hell his name is.
Tito Orojo. Yeah. I like that you got fictitious players for this guy now.
Dude, there's so many. Like, can I just start listing off some names that I know we're not going to get?
Well, wait, but Kenny might get him. He's a Yankees fan.
We're still stuck on the starting catcher. Yes, you got to give me some more hints for that.
Kenny, were you going to get Chris Bootcheck? Like, no.
No.
I remember that guy, but I would never
Remember that
get him.
guy too. The starting catcher was really bad, dude.
Wait, Jeff Karstens, not a catcher or reliever?
That's such a good name. No.
Damn.
Oh,
I remember the Pirate. This catcher you would probably remember as a Pirate.
That's Martin. That's Cervelli. That's
He was awful, dude. His OPS plus for his career was 63.
it's not Rod Barajas, is it?
No, like you're on the right track.
it's like Sal Fasano or some nonsense.
He's a white guy. Well, Sal Fasano's a white guy. He was a white guy. He was just the worst.
It's like Eric Pratt. Is he still around?
Eric Kratz?
Kratz? Sorry, not Pratt.
He was a Phillies announcer last year. He was bad.
No, he's not around.
Phillies legend Eric Kratz, yeah. Okay, so this dude's a terrible hitter. Is there anything notable about this guy, or is he just
No,
bad?
that's the problem. Should I give this one away? I don't know how to give you this guy.
At this point, yes, because it's her. I'm annoyed. Not at you.
Stewart.
At the thing.
Chris Stewart.
Oh God, I never would have gotten that.
Chris Stewart.
Wait, he was the starter?
Well,
He played
It was-
109 games.
it was not a good year for us, first of all. But yeah,
I
I don't.
can tell.
I don't think the intent was for him to start.
There are a couple of other really good names on here. This is a batting stance legend.
Craig Counsell?
No, but keep going.
Kevin Youkilis was there,
Yep.
wasn't he?
Yep.
Oh,
This guy was
I'm telling you, this was the year that the Yankees were the island of misfit toys.
Yeah,
That's
why I
what this
wanted to
entire
say it.
roster was.
Yeah, it's no fun to just give all stars. It's really
Yeah.
fun to be like, how about Chris Bootcheck?
yeah.
All right, this guy was a masher for the Diamondbacks when we were growing up in like 2008.
Mark Reynolds?
Yeah,
He was
there
on the
for-
Yankees?
I did not know he was a Yankee. This guy was a glove first shortstop, and he was the worst. I mean, it's
Brendan
good.
Ryan.
I love Brendan Ryan. I love Brendan Ryan. I used to watch his. I'm a lefty. I've never played shortstop in my life. I used to watch his highlights all the time.
Yeah, he's just wishing.
This
if
guy,
only I was right-handed. Yeah, but you're a lefty. That means that if people just can't pitch you down and in,
Correct.
can't do it.
this guy was traded straight up for Aaron Hicks.
Oh,
He was
one
a
of the worst-
catcher.
One
He
of
had
the worst
two
trades in
first
Yankee history.
I
I know it.
He's
but I
Where
know
was Aaron Hicks before the Yankees?
Minnesota.
the Twins.
Was it like Alex Avila?
Oh no, it was.
No, he's a total rando.
Oh.
But he wasn't necessarily at the time. The Yankees had like an extra catcher, and they were like, "Here, Minnesota."
Yeah, here, you want the one that is going to maybe amount to be something instead of Chris Stewart?
No, just tell me at this point. But I feel like I should know it.
John Ryan Murphy.
Yeah,
Oh.
J.R. He used to be J.R. Murphy. Then halfway through,
Yeah.
he's like, "No, I'm John Ryan."
I literally
He was-
just pulled it up. Baseball
he was
Reference
like-
said used to go by J.R. Murphy.
He was moderately passable for like 60 games, and
Is that-
then it
Okay.
was just downhill. All right, so I guess the
Okay.
Yankees made out okay in that trade. I was
Yeah,
exaggerating.
there's a
Yeah,
couple
could've been
other good
worse.
names on. I mean, I can just list them off because we're
Is this like did Eduardo Nunez get a cup of tea this year?
that's who the
Oh.
shortstop was, Eduardo Nunez.
Oh,
I
nice.
forgot about that.
Oh, that
guy.
was when they were still feeling him out as like, hey, he might be the future, and then he
Yeah.
made 34 throwing errors in like a month.
This guy was a World Series hero for the Giants, first baseman.
Aubrey Huff.
No, Asian guy.
Travis Ishikawa.
Yeah.
Travis-
I didn't know he
I
was-
forgot he was a Yankee.
I didn't know he was a Yankee.
I also did.
This guy was a Phillies legend. He came over in the Cliff Lee trade.
Ben
Cliff Lee
Francisco.
Cliff Lee is the best Yankee to never be a Yankee
To never
because
be a
every
Yankee.
trade deadline he was supposed to be, and then he never was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he was supposed to sign with them, and then he went to Philadelphia for less, right?
Yeah.
There are a couple other. I'll just list them off because I
Wait,
don't know
was
how-
it Ben Francisco?
It was Ben Francisco.
It was.
Wow.
Can we go through or focus on more of the rotation because I feel like we've yet
Oh,
to scratch
sure.
the surface.
There's only one other name you didn't get. So the rotation: Sabathia, Kuroda, Pettit, Hughes, Nova, and then there's one other guy who was like he was supposed to be kind of good, and they moved him to the bullpen, and he was like just another arm for the rest of his career. He was a Philly at one point.
I feel like there are a lot of Yankees that are then Phillies.
This guy just bounced around. He was a Yankee, Marlin, Blue Jay, Philly, Cub, Mariner, Brewer.
David Phelps. Thank you.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's a great
Wow.
pull. All
He was a
You
decent
heard that whole
starter.
checklist,
I
and you
actually-
were like, yes, yes, yeah, yep. David
I
Phelps.
liked David Phelps as a starter, and then they started toying with him. And he was a decent reliever on teams not named the Yankees for a few years. But
and not the Phillies.
Yeah, and teams not named the Phillies.
yeah, he flamed out eventually.
There's one more guy. He was a Mariner before the Yankees, and then he was a Yankee, and then he bounced around. He was okay. I think he stepped in for David Robertson when he got hurt one year.
Rafael Soriano.
No, but that's a great guess.
Damn. Oh, he used to untuck his jersey after every save. I like that guy.
Oh, this guy was a Yankees closer later, and he was very good. He was a huge guy with a changeup. He had a weird name that Michael K always pronounces wrong.
That doesn't narrow it down that much.
He's like
Michael K is a certified idiot.
He's like 6'8", this guy.
6'8".
Yo, you know him. He was the Yankees closer in like 2016, and then he signed with the Mets and then retired.
Oh, Dellin.
Yeah,
Dellin Betances, my boy.
yeah.
Love Dellin Betances.
I don't think there are any other. The guy was, I think it was Sean Kelly. You remember him?
Is that SHAWN Kelly?
Yeah, KELLY.
Who is Banuelos on this team?
No,
The
but-
Killer Bees,
Yeah.
Man Band.
Here,
See,
I'll just
for
give
some,
you the
before you list it, because I do want to hear you list it. I, for some reason, very often confuse like the 2005 to 2007 Yankees with the Yankees we're talking about right now, because they are equal periods of frustration. Like we
Okay.
talk about this, and my mind goes to Sean Chacon, and I'm
Sean
like,
Oh.
I know he was certainly not on this team, but like he fits the bill of players on this team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's the kind of guy they would staff this.
Like there was a time where the Yankees revitalized the careers of Sean Chacon, Freddie Garcia, and Bartolo Colon. People forget Bartolo Colon revitalized himself with the Yankees.
Philly's great, Freddie Garcia. I think you.
Yes.
Here,
Yeah.
I'll list off the rest of the names because I don't think you're going to get them. Boone Logan.
Yep.
Oh.
Remember him,
Adam
lefty.
Warren.
Boone Logan was a lefty.
Yeah, he was good. Adam Warren, Preston
Yep.
Claiborne, David Huff, Vidal Nuno, Cesar Cabral, Cody Epley. Like, I don't know who these people are. some of them.
Adam Warren was a Yankee more like he was an on again, off again Yankee
Yeah, he
more
went to the
times.
Padres in the back. Yep. I
More,
remember.
more times than Billy Martin was the on again, off again manager of the Yankees. That's how often this man came
There are a
back.
couple of more good names on the bench that are funny. Melky Mesa, Brent Lillibridge, Reed
Brett
Burnett,
Lillibridge, that little
Yeah.
bastard.
Brennan Bosch, Luis Cruz.
Oh, dude,
Brennan,
I could have
Brennan
got Brennan
Bosch,
Bosch.
Boesch,
Yeah,
Brennan
yeah.
Bosch. Yeah.
Here,
Yeah.
I'll leave you with the best one. There are a couple others I didn't bother mentioning. The best one I'll leave you with.
Okay.
Zoilo Almonte.
Oh.
Zoilo! He was okay for like 40 games. It was the Jeremy Lin of Yankees baseball. And then he just flamed out. Kind of like, remember Never Nervous Jan Jervis? Very similar Jan Jervis Solarte type of period of time.
dude, this is
We were
this
just talking about Jan Hervis Solarte like 2 days ago.
That's my
is,
boy.
this,
Except he's
this
not.
is what
Oh.
the game's about, Kenny, of just doing the let's do this again, man. Let's
I
check
love this
back
game.
in. Let's check back in like I don't know, like a month or two or something. Talk about how the game's going, and we can play some more Melvin Mora. How's that sound?
Absolutely. As long as it's not this team. Not because I know the answers already, but because I
Yeah.
hate most of the players on it.
We
Right,
can pick
yeah,
a,
this
we can pick a
depressing
good,
walk down memory lane.
yeah, we can pick a good Yankees team. How about that?
Yeah, this was the year that Eduardo Nunez was trying to throw to Lyle Overbay. It's a period of time
Right.
I'd like to forget.
Let's.
Yeah.
What if we threw Kenny a curveball? What if we did the Red Sox? Because you could probably get them.
Honestly, I probably would be okay. I mean, I'd like to think I was about 34% accurate just now, maybe 35% accurate. I gotta
I
be.
think you
You
did
can't
good.
get worse.
You
than that.
did very well. You did very well.
I did very well.
Usually that's about where we max out. Like with the 2008 Phillies, like we can nail the whole roster in like 5 minutes.
Mhm.
But that's our team.
Yeah, I mean, dude,
2015 Phillies, it's different.
you got Eduardo Nunez. Like that's impressive. You
I
got,
feel like I did well at going, that guy, after
Yeah.
you said the name. And then I also did very well at naming randos not on the team.
like
Yeah, that's true.
What was his name? Daryl.
Daryl Rassner, look him up. He was eventually traded to Washington. And
I
it was when
will.
Washington still had their old logo. So clearly before 2013.
Oh,
I said
like
him
the
anyway.
Matt Chico Nationals.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, is Juan Miranda on this team? Like, I don't remember what period of time. It's a flat circle. I don't know
Well,
where.
yeah, where's Zealous Wheeler?
Oh God!
Yeah,
Or like, is Damaso Marte still around? Like, where is he?
Damaso Marte. I'm
Where-
old enough to remember Damaso Marte had 2 pitches in MLB 08 the show. He only had 2. He had a slider fastball. Kenny, we only got 2 minutes left. Why don't you tell everybody where to find you and what else you're up to?
At KDJTV611 on Twitter, YouTube, TikTok. Here's the shirt, KDJTV. Buy the merch if you'd like. If not, just look at the merch. It's fine too. I am making MLB The Show content also on Twitch, twitch.tv/KDJTV. We don't take ourselves too seriously. If you already haven't been able to tell that, we just like to have fun, swing at pitches out of the strike zone, and curse a lot when things don't go my way. So that's our vibe.
As you should. Kenny, this has been
I love
super fun. Thanks for coming on the show, man. Let's do it again in, I don't know, a couple months or something, and we can play some more Melvin Mora.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me.
All right,
guys.
you, man. You're the best.
Absolutely. Thank you.
As always, everybody, as always, we sign off this way every time now. This has been the Baseball Podcast, and we'll see you later.
Your noise canceling's on. You messed it up. Do it again.
Oh, do it again. Keep that in. Don't edit that out.
I will. And then I'll go, where is it?
It's like, as we always say to end the show,
Nothing.
awkward silence.
Okay.
Oh!
All right, go ahead.
We'll run it back. As always, guys.
His name is Dan Arlo.
And we will see you later. Again.